in bringing back their economy, assist them in, so the committee is there. Then, of course, the committee is broken down again. In the 14 affected local governments, you have subcommittees of the Tabai Committee. The subcommittees are headed one by the council chairman, the local government council chairman, the police DPO, members of the Tabai Committee, officers from my own ministry, the State Emergency Management Agency, to ensure that whatever is being distributed, whatever is being given out to the affected communities and the individuals actually get to the people.
I will let you have this now quickly. Sorry, Nyota, someone just sent this, Emmanuel. He says the clearing of the waterways in Warri was not properly done in some areas, asking if the government is going to go ahead and monitor some of those works already done.
Yes, thank you. Of course, thank God he's already confirmed that the exercise is going on. It's just the issue that probably he noticed that in some areas were not properly done. We'll take a look at all that and go back to areas where we need to do some improvements.
What about creating buffer zones? It is believed that Delta was hit so hard because of the flooding of the River Niger, which affected some communities at least 5 kilometers from the riverbank. Are you creating buffer zones?
Yes, the buffer zone simply means you stay away from the floodplains.
What about creating embankments?
Fine. That idea has come up, creating embankments. But the financial implication of doing that, because we are talking of a stretch of almost 200 kilometers, a massive financial involvement, that will run into millions of, billions of dollars, not even to talk of naira. So that is a major challenge. Of course, we recognize that these things need to be done. Not just even within Delta, right from up there in Lokoja down to, but where do you get the money? So that is a major challenge.
Do you have any existing dam?
We're not in Delta. Not in Delta. For the issues of dam are handled up by the federal government. And, we hear some of them are nearing completion, and some of them have been completed and may be commissioned by the president. So we hope that when all that is done, it will help to reduce the impact when it comes again. But
does this committee also have the mandate, perhaps, to also, because at that time, we talked about accessing the Ministry of Science and Technology now to give you the satellite images or perhaps the flood path. Yeah. Do they have any mandate to coordinate with other agencies?
Yes, of course. We work
in case of any threat?
Yes, definitely. We do. In fact, there was a seminar that was organized by the National Emergency Management Agency where all these related agencies across the country met, and we discussed, and of course they provided some of this information you just talked about, and as part of the communique that was issued, the need for that inter-ministerial collaboration to enable us draw from the experiences and the information available to some of these other national agencies. So we're working in tandem with them.
So what would you say is the maybe biggest challenge that maybe you've discovered in the course of trying to sort this challenge out that you think needs to be addressed almost immediately?
I think it's funding, I must tell you.
Funding?
Yes, I think it's funding. We must take a look at the funding. We've been having a series of meetings with the Presidential Committee on flooding. We have asked for our own submission, which we have presented to them. About 22 states, we had a meeting with them some few weeks back. We asked that we should submit what we think should be the assistance we expect from the federal government, which we submitted, and we're expecting that they will respond. So essentially, I think it's the funding. And I must give a lot of thanks to our governor, His Excellency Dr. Emmanuel Eweta Oduaga, because he has tried as well to beef up what the budgetary provision used to be, for managing such emergencies. In the year 2012-11, we used to have just about 350 million. But this year in the budget, we have almost 4 billion, about 4.something billion. These are all measures to ensure that the state is prepared when this thing comes again. But essentially, the issue of funding. And again, the attitude
of the people?
Yes, the attitude of the people. Attitude in the sense that even when they say that, look, there is danger here, don't go, they don't do it, they still remain. I'll tell you an experience we had during the flood exercise in evacuating people from the waters. It was really difficult. Even when they saw that, look, there was death ahead of them, most of them still refused to leave the environment.
All over the world.
So it was also the attitude. But we hope that we just hope that with the exercise we've commenced now, that's the issue of sensitization over time.
You have to keep it going.
Exactly.
How do you do that?
Well, of course. First, we are through television, radio, it's ongoing through town criers. We are moving, and as I told you, His Excellency has set up committees again to now personally, committees move into the communities. So I appeal to them, tell them, look, this is what is likely to happen. Please let us be prepared. And I hope that with all these efforts, this time it will be easier, because it really wasn't easy evacuating them, moving them away from where areas they felt where they have had years of cultural relationship, taking them away from such areas. I recently had a personal experience when a man placed some bricks on his bed, hoping that the water would not rise to that level. As the water rose, he placed another brick. As the water rose, he kept placing bricks on his bed until it gave, because he doesn't want to leave his house. And the water level was rising in his house. The water has come into his house, his building. The water level was, it was that serious. The water level was rising, but the man just refused to leave. He said he wasn't going to leave. So rather, he get bricks placed on top of his bed and praise his master. The next day, the water rises, he gets more bricks placed on, and it just goes on like that.
That was an intrusion by the water. The water should have been.
We have good experience. Even the Minister for Finance, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, when she came during the period, we went to a nearby community in Asaba. They call it Ugbolu. There was this woman she saw, a pregnant woman with about 4 little other kids. Now, the house the woman was staying in at that time, part of the house was already submerged. The minister was practically begging the woman, come with me. We have facilities in Asaba. The secretary, the governor has set up very good facilities where the IDPs have been taken care of with all necessary medical attention. The minister was begging her. She refused to leave. She begged and begged. She refused to leave.
Leslie, I was going to add something before you leave concerning funding. Have you been able to access the ecological fund? We've always heard about that fund, whether it does exist or not. Perhaps you should be able to let us in on that.
Yes, that is part of the thing we expect in the course of our relationship discussion on this issue with the federal government. We will be able to come around it.
Okay, well, because we're even going to just add 1 or 2 things, because the last time where some materials were provided, I think we saw the governor go there, and he did ask, look, he asked the people, have you all received some of these things? And they said no. And an official was there who had received some of these items, but had not distributed it. So while you're all working hard to ensure things go on, I hope there are no officials somewhere who are withholding or preventing these materials from getting to the people.
Thank you very much. Well, we will always expect such a thing. You see, in a situation where you are managing such number of persons, thousands of persons, it is not out of place that along the line, we'll have this kind of infractions. And immediately, on this particular experience, I'm sure you knew the governor took immediate action on that culprit, on the civil servant who did that. And I'm sure that will be a deterrent. I'm sure that's a severe warning to any one of them, that on cases of emergency like this, you do not play with the fortunes of the people.
All right, then. Wish you all the best. Dr. Tony Nwaka is Commissioner for Special Duties in Delta State. Thank you for